Today on the show, I'm happy to have a great panel of experts in the AI sector. Some quick intros. You got Sammane, he's the founder of Theosym. He has a book in the AI and he's launched this great company around it. We have David Horowitz, he's the founder of a stealth brain-computer interface startup. We have Xiaochen Zhang, the executive director of AI 2030 and the founder of FinTech for Good. Thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So we're going to jump in some very hot topics right now. We have the election upon us, and there's a lot of concerns around AI-generated deepfakes, videos, images that are going to be coming out that are going to be swaying the thoughts and minds of voters. So to jump in, let's start with you, Sam. What do you think about what's going on or what might be going on?
I think it would get very nasty. We'll have for the first time the possibility of making very strong fake information supported by images. And it could be in two directions. Like it could be done by, for example, the Biden campaign to manipulate information about Trump campaign, because apparently that's what we'll have. Or it could be used also by Trump campaign to spread, like let's call it, better image for himself, like what we have seen recently, the fake image of black voters happy and celebrating with Trump hand in hand, which it could be a real thing, but it's obviously fake.
Let me jump in if they can follow up there. And thank you for the invitation. And from me, that's using AI in election itself is a very exciting thing. And I worked with someone who actually was trying to, this is not at the federal level, but for district election. And then he was basically building this digital self using AI, and then to provide better access of himself to his followers, to the voters. And now that's large in the whole election, no matter at what level, and the large amount of money just being spent to just reach out to the voters. But you are only one person and you only have this much of ability, and your voter always are being left in dark or not enough to hear from you, to understand you. But with the potential of AI to just really be able to be you and answer questions like you, giving feedback like you, and then that's really democratize the whole election process, and then to provide that kind of direct election, which has never been before. So that has a great promise. Of course, that I also agree with Sam from deepfake and all other risk around AI. And it's also something need to be addressed. So that's why AI 2030 and our goal is the mainstream responsible AI. And in election side, that's the risk is even bigger than any other places where that, because the stake is big. So how to just make AI transparent, accountable, fair, and sustainable. And then those are the core concerns, which are the core risks, which any AI company will try to enter into the election space and need to address.
I agree with Xiaochen. I remember when ChatGPT came on the horizon in a big way, some of the greatest minds in artificial intelligence, specifically Geoffrey Hinton, reacted very negatively to what was happening by the errors that ChatGPT was making. And people started perceiving ChatGPT to be lying to them. Hinton made a dramatic exit, probably near his retirement, and discounted AI completely. And I remain optimistic about AI, and Xiaochen was talking about regulating AI so that it's used in an exciting, positive fashion. If there's disinformation now between human to human interaction around these two polar figures in the presidential race in the US, I remain optimistic that the cooperation of developers and scientists can begin to regulate and control the behavior of AI. I also know, as a conversational AI designer and having built many speech recognition systems, that there are techniques we can use in human-machine interaction that for sure haven't been being used in many of the applications and experiments of ChatGPT. So I spent a good year with ChatGPT and designed a framework for developing a psychotherapist using speech recognition in ChatGPT. So I remain optimistic that while there is this dangerous threat, we have to remember and not forget that human-to-human communication can also be threatening. And I think for technology, I'm optimistic.
I share your optimism. In fact, my book title is The Singularity of Hope. So it's about hope and how the technology will be helping us amplifying our intelligence. But going back to the idea of deepfake, I don't think regulation will be helping us in any way. It's the same, just by analogy, to the same situation with social media. Of course, they can regulate social media and make it not legal to do fake news. But who has interest in that? Both campaigns are used to nasty fake news against each other, and they will continue with AI. The only thing will happen with AI is, unfortunately, it will be an augmentation of our own intelligence. Let's not exaggerate how powerful AI is. And the problem here is a human, let's call it intervention with AI. Usually they tell you it's AI deepfake. Yes, but who did it? A human. Finally, it could get nasty, unfortunately, and I don't think regulation will help us. Nobody will go and put a regulation that will put him in this favorable situation against the other people.
Yeah, just to follow on Sam, that I fully agree with that. In the AI era, that it's not anyone's responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. And the way that we call it the shared responsibility in the era of AI, where that each one play a small role there. Legislators define the responsibility, define the roles. But again, from the legislation process, you want to define in the way which protect the minimum. And if you protect the maximum, and then you will find many people cannot, or company cannot comply, that becoming another type of disaster. Legislative process where, just protect the minimum, and then the regulative process is really just enforcing that. Then you have the industry, and then from association, all that's trying to say voluntarily what you can do. Then you have also the startups. You need to build the tools to enable those enforcement, to enable them to do responsible AI in the way which is cost effective and also, support the business models. Then you have the media professional, the users who also need to understand in the AI era that a lot of the individuals, viewers, creators have different type of role, but different type of rights, which the rights yet to be defined clearly, because before AI, then those rights may in certain contexts may not be that important. In certain contexts, those rights didn't emerge even. So now in the AI age, that individuals need to know what right do you have and what right you don't. And then when you do certain things, there are implications that you're breaching others' rights. So there's a tons of things that individuals need to learn. I think as a shared responsibility model is the one which we try to push, and in the way that each individual or organization understand their role and also take that role in the way which is serious and also responsible.
There's always propaganda in these elections, right? There's always slam campaigns. But now we might have visual support, deepfake visual support of some of these rumors. So what are you guys' thoughts on when that happens, and how is it going to affect things? Is there any way to prevent things like this?
Let me go into this and tell you, unfortunately, it will happen. But I think at least now at our level of technology, we can detect it very easily. So the way most probably it will be used is to amplify publicity, to make news, to make people talk about it. It's not just really to, let's call it making deception or making lies appears more real, more publicly talking about them, okay? And of course, we'll have always people who will be for Trump, people will be for Biden, and they will believe anything to trash the other side and will consider it as a proof, but it would be funny. It would be mostly to gain airtime and to talk about it, and suddenly it would be an opportunity to to say, yes, practically, let's go back to the example of Trump. He will never be with black voters in this way. That's what the Biden campaign would say. And the others will say, no, he is open, so it's a chance to somehow talk more, and using the trending topic, which is AI and technology, to talk more and more about their campaign. But we're still very early in the technology, so whatever we are baking, we can detect it very easily. Not very difficult.
Yeah. Go to Sam's point where that high-grade technology is available. Detection is really easy to do. But I think another side of the story is also that how available are those technology to the average people in their daily life, and how to just bring that detection technology in a cost-effective, even without any cost. And that is, I think, something that's need to happen. Again, go back to the shared responsibility model, where that's in this, that's for example, content creator, and you need to, in this stage, understand what's your responsibility there. And then from the legislator and regulators say, from the deepfake, what is the liability? If you define that very clearly, then those content creators trying to use the deepfake to just really create content, they know their legal liability. And if that communicates, and then you have fewer of them who dare to do, and who will do that in a way which doesn't generate or create those kind of damage, which can be really at the scale and all that. So that is one thing from the shared risk. Then from the technology provider side, that's to detect the deepfake and to make that available for all. You need a new type of innovation. You need new solutions. You need also to business model to just make that be available for the public. And then there's also the grant makers and then civil society, where that's to, for example, in the election space. And then there are a lot of advocacy and all those kind of organizations. And in the US, it's always bipartisan. But I think there should be a lot more partisan. So there should be bipartisan initiative, which provide those initiatives which help to any individual have any news or any those content piece, and then they can help to just really, answer quickly or with one click and see this is fake, this is not fake. And in the way it's not partisan. And then you have really objective to fact check and say whether it's created by human or by AI, and with AI it's a fake or not. I think there should be large investment in that, and then supported by the bipartisan initiative, bring that for public to act. Yeah.
So to jump into the next topic, which is generative AI's economic value. Like, we've seen a lot of hype in the media, in the stock market, right, with companies like NVIDIA, which is being blown to new highs. Is there true economic value for businesses, for organizations with generative AI? A lot of companies are still in the experimental phase, and with only a small percentage actually deploying it at scale. So what are you guys seeing in industry? Is there areas where you really do think there's a lot of economic value?
I've been doing market research for my own company. And so I'm, like the rest of us, I'm in a particular vertical of AI technology. It may use generative AI. And the one thing I learned over the past 6 months is that, as you said, many of the AI companies are in research and development mode. And when they start commercializing it, it's another research project. What is the ideal application? I think people have to go back to first principles and look at the market revenue figures and verticals that are successful and attract a lot of people. And AI companies have to adopt a product-focused, it sounds simple, but it's not, product-focused method of rolling out their applications. I saw in the beginning of speech recognition, and I liken we started speech recognition in the 90s to what's going on now with AI's revolution. No one knew where speech recognition would go. All kinds of different applications are being developed. Some were successful, some weren't. I think if more thought had been put into the market research, possibly the right vertical can be more easily determined and a more successful application developed.
I would say that generative, first of all, I agree a lot with David, so whatever he said, but I think we have a lot of potential. We are really in the beginning. The only application that I can see immediately will change the way we act, text-based. Like we will say, finally, we have a giant spell checker that is working. So this is immediately we can use it. And this will transform the society. To me, when I detect some errors, so, hey man, go use ChatGPT, please. You don't need this level to suffer for nothing. I think this is the immediate use, summarizing text. Let's call it optimizing your text. That's already in use and happen. Now we have seen other things that I would consider them demonstration, just fun. Let's call it Sora or whatever new things are coming. They are still just fun. It's impressive from the perspective of R&D. Here I agree a lot with David, but any tool will come out of it. It will be, as we said, a research project, maybe one project, very far from real application. But that's maybe similar to what we have lived in the 90s, in the beginning of the internet. In the beginning, everybody wanted to say, let's do e-commerce, let's transform society. And it took practically a lot of time to see it really happening. Yes, generative AI will change the world. We have amazing technology coming in, but I don't think we have it yet. It's still in the beginning, with the only exception is this giant and beautiful spell checker that we can use immediately.
My side that I want to clear that I think Gen AI is not hype, and Gen AI is here, and it creates a tremendous value for billions of people and millions of companies as of now. And when you just look at the customer adoption curve of ChatGPT in the past, it's incredible. And also when you just look at my background was with the cloud company, and how many of those different industries are leveraging Gen AI capability to just create a new process, new product offering, and enhance the efficiency of their sales, their internal operation folks, and also for coders who are just leveraging to generate. So tons of them, we are talking about really millions, billions of dollars of cost saving for many of the organizations. The reason why I think from anything in terms of the business adoption, and it's not that something that's which create business value, you can immediately to launch that a customer facing application or product, because especially if you're in the regulated industry, where that to launch a product, you have to just have your examiners, your regulators to prove that your product will just pass all that. So it's not that those products not ready. It's more as the product need to be launched in the market, and then especially at the scale, need regulators, need different readiness. So I think, again, from the true value, and then Gen AI's value is already proved. It's not that yet to be proved, but again, from the adoption, as I agree with Sam, it's early adoption, and a lot more enterprise level of big successful story beyond the ChatGPT need to just be there, and we are going to see a lot of excitement in the next even 10, 12 months.
Yeah, I give it from my aspect of Gen AI, right? I'm in a marketing space, right? A marketing, sales growth, things like that. And it's all about wordsmithing. It's all about visuals. And what I've been able to do in my current venture is not hire a graphic designer. I don't need that person anymore. I don't need copywriters, right? Because we can just take some ideas and we can populate the information on our website. We can populate the scripts we send to target new customers. We can help write our content for social media. So as far as economic value in my small scale, I've now removed 7 or 8 staff members. So I think that brings us next into AI in the future of work. What roles are going to be disappearing? What new roles are going to arise? What new job categories and skills are workers going to need?
In my book, I have a chapter, I call it The Rise of Digital Proletariat. I'm borrowing a little bit from Karl Marx's book. But he was talking about a revolution of workers. I'm talking about a revolution of digital workers, or chatbots, or robots. And they are coming, yes, they will take a lot of jobs that we consider right now human jobs, especially everything not related to creativity. So I agree with you, Chad, when you tell me you don't need these people. I will add to that, because you are the creative person. You don't need people who are behaving like machine. I used to tell people, the problem is not generative AI became like a human. The problem in the last 50 years, we are asking a human to behave like machine. So AI now will replace them. These jobs will be gone, but creativity are still needed. In your particular case, I agree with you, but you are the creative person, so you don't need machine people anymore. You can use directly generative AI. There is a big value here, but also there is a big danger. The danger is not that we'll not have things to do, or we don't need a human. We still need the creativity. We still need a human being, and generative AI is really basic. It's not given overestimated power. But here the problem is that we used to ask people to behave in a certain way in the job work and to do very basic stuff. And this kind of jobs will disappear. We'll not need another copywriter that is practically a spam generator. If it's creative, yes, definitively. Because here comes the problem. The problem, we need to reprogram society to become creative, to revive emotional intelligence, and to become human again. So yes, there will be a big impact on the job. Unfortunately, a lot of jobs will disappear, but I think a lot of other jobs will come to life. And also the difficulty of creating company will become much less difficult, because if you are a creative person, you don't need people just like machine to do things. You can program it or automate it with AI tools. But in this case, you need only the creativity, only the human touch. Things will be changing drastically. And I have a huge fear for our regulators that I think will not catch up. They will wait until we have a big problems in the job.
We have the Jobs of the Future roundtable discussion in the past few months. We invite quite of emerging technology leaders to exactly dive deep into that. There are a couple of conclusions, and number one is that all jobs will disappear and re-emerge in a different form. So then from the Job of Future discussion, the number one thing need to happen or is happening is the job or the work will be redesigned. Your example, when you just those people who are in your staff member, and then they are gone, but the nature of your job also are redesigned, in the sense that all jobs will be redesigned, where that's the core concept there is the human machine collaborative intelligence. That's the guiding part, where how the job will be redesigned, and how to define the human part and also the machine part, and then how that collaborative mechanism will be built, and what will be the interaction, how to just put in all that. So the first part is really the redesign piece. The redesign piece happen in all job category and for any jobs. And you can imagine, no matter you work on metaverse, robotic, all the traditional manufacturing, your job will be redesigned. So that's number one. Number two is that upscaling. So that's the reason why you can just get rid of those jobs, because you are a creative person who also learn the new skills, use prompt engineering and all that to just, create meet the need you have. So many of the people who just, left your company and will take up new skills, then they re-emerge as a new professional for within this simple machine collaborative intelligence type of work, and then define their own role. Then this upscaling perspective is very important for the individual. And we have seen many of the professionals, no matter the traditional division as a white collar and blue collar and all that, any color of your color, and then upscaling becoming an essence in the professional development. The third piece is for the corporate, and as redefine your workforce. where that's again go back to the current workforce, and many times that you get rid of certain job titles and all that, but the new job title you will emerge. For example, in my field as responsible AI, as a company are developing or using of AI, you need experts who really are responsible AI experts, who know about ethics, who know about legal, who know about compliance, who know about coding. And then those kind of people don't exist. If you don't have that, naturally, if your customer asks you, can you explain your AI? And you can't, or if there's a consequence in your AI, and then your regulator asks you, and then how you can address bias, and then, or if you are serving different population coming from different religion, where that's your AI only provides there's a mainstream feedback for mainstream for one religion, other religion feel that you're against them, and then if you don't have product design and also implementation and all that, you don't have the responsible AI folks who are in your AI product, you'll find that your product will have tons of problems that will incur a lot of costs. But this kind of roles are the professionals don't exist, certification are not exist, and so you will see many of the new workforce if you are the HR in your company and plan your future workforce becoming a very important piece of that.
First on Sam, I grew up as a researcher at MIT in the first epoch of artificial intelligence, which were rule-based systems. And the great professors Marvin Minsky and Seymour Papert taught that I would free people up to reach a higher level of self and do more creative things. And that was echoed through both of the other speakers. I think a nice synopsis or picture to carry around is what AI is now doing in medicine. There are surgeons performing surgery with an AI robot, and the AI robot is at all times subservient to the surgeon. I suppose one day we can imagine some surgeries being replaced entirely by robots. But rather than focusing on taking away jobs, I like the paradigm where there's a collaborative mechanism between the surgeon and the AI robot. And I think those are the kinds of applications that will really thrive in the next year or so.
I agree with you 100%. And this is a typical example how we are behaving like machine. Surgeon is people who are performing surgeries. They are not doing any new practically research during the surgery. The research already done before. If we imagine and projection what you have just said for the future, I think within 20 years, we'll have robot that will perform the surgery, but the human will continue innovating a new surgery. This is what would be really different. We'll give people freedom. In fact, I will take our routine and give us back our creativity, where we need to become really creative, innovative, human. And that's what I talk about in my book. I call it the singularity of hope. This is the real singularity, not by the machine overcoming us as the intelligence, but by us becoming free and become super intelligent ourselves.
To move us into our closing topic here around, actually, it's a perfect flow through into surgery and AI. David, you are very focused right now on brain-computer interfaces. Now, to many of us, something like Neuralink and things like Elon Musk is doing are very foreign. Now, you're deep into this, so I want to hear the real potential of this technology and where you see it going.
The brain-computer interface is based on the paradigm of recognizing people's thoughts and transmitting them to a device or a computer or an augmented reality environment or the metaverse. Some think, like Facebook, brain-computer interface is a wonderful interface for the metaverse. I'm forgetting the second thought I wanted to say. If you look at a brain-computer interface mechanism, there is the process of recognizing the thought by sensing or electrical waveforms that are emitting through the skull, being picked up by a transducer, like the EEG that people have routinely medical tests with. And now with these waveforms, we have to somehow decode them into speech representations, phonemes, and even finer grained phonemes. once we have the speech, the raw speech, we can make sense of it and interpret what the person is saying and what they're meaning to say and have that interact with the computer. I focus on, this may not be all the time, but currently I'm focused on non-invasive, non-surgical sensing of the brain. I think in the short term, to build a product that's going to sell significantly. Yes, I agree with what Elon Musk is doing, helping people who are quadriplegic or even people who can't speak. But he's doing an invasive technique, which is what Neuralink is about. I think in the early days, for everybody to have equal access to brain-to-computer interfaces, we need a low-cost sensor system on the head. I would recommend EEG sensory systems. We need a good way of decoding from the waveforms to speech, and then we need to interface it to a computer and build applications that, as everyone agrees, hit verticals that are $33 billion markets.
If any of our listeners wanted to contact you to learn more and dig deeper into this or learn about your efforts, how can they do so?
Yeah. Contact me first at my personal email address, david.horowitz1211, and we can link either in WhatsApp or find each other in LinkedIn and take it from there.
Perfect. And then Sam, if listeners wanted to buy the book or get in touch about Theosym, how could they do so?
For the book, you go to Amazon and you look for The Singularity of Hope. But easier, you can go to my website, sammane.com. It's AMANE.com. And there is link to purchase the book. There is, of course, 3 versions right now: the paperback, the hardcover, and the ebook. The ebook I'm selling only for $1. I'm trying to spread the information here, not to get money from people. Theosym, our website is under development. We are still in the beginning, but hopefully by the end of the month, it's Theosym, and practically we will be operating in the domain of digital worker. We'll provide 2 products. So the first one is RoboSym. It's practically ChatGPT meeting robocall. So instead of having a dumb robocall, which will be a smart one that can interact and provide very smart discussion. And most probably, I think of it as customer support for a lot of companies, especially in the medical field and the customer service. So one friend of mine who has a restaurant, he told me most of the call he's receiving is when he's closed. So having a robot taking the calls and interacting with the client would be very good for small businesses as well.
And we do have our Chicago AI conference in June, on June 25th and to 26th in Chicago. Many of the problems that's what we discussed here will be discussed there, and you will hear many of the experts from the conference, and anyone want to check out, feel free.
I want to thank everybody for listening to the show today and our 3 experts for coming in to speak about AI and all the different realms of what's happening in the world with it. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe for more great content like this. I'm your host, Chad Kalecki with FTS, and we'll see you next time.